Hi, I'm Jim Dobson, and we're going to talk for the next few minutes about truth. What does it really mean, and how can you go about finding it? You know, those are very difficult questions to answer because you can hear many varying opinions about truth today.
Truth is, I don't know what truth is, to tell you the truth.
What is God? I don't know. I can't say which religion is right.
What a person wants to believe, they'll believe, and then they will say for themselves what's right or wrong.
I make my own destiny. You know, I don't have to worry about whether there's a God or not.
What you think is right and what you think is wrong is going to differ from person to person.
I don't think there's such a thing as absolute truth.
Well, if someone does judge me in my religion, then I just think, they're ignorant.
Tolerance is very good, but it may lead to bad things.
All the religions, they believe in different, so I don't know which one is wrong, which one is right.
Truth is decided by the Bible and what they said.
My conscience probably decides what's right or wrong for me.
Religion is something man made up to make themselves feel better about themselves. I think there's an absolute truth for certain people, but they differ with every single person.
I go along with what I think is true. Like, it might not be true, but I'm too lazy to really think about that.
That last young man still has some work to be done if he's going to get a fix on the meaning of truth. But how will he and the others go about doing that? One popular approach, of course, is to decide what's right and wrong on the basis of consequences. If someone gets hurt in the process, then it's wrong, and if not, then it must be okay. But is that the most reliable standard to follow? Let's drop in on a locker room conversation and then hear a discussion about that question, who does it hurt?
Sorry, my fault. Dude, that was the worst math test I have ever taken.
Yeah.
What's so funny? How'd you do?
Well, let's just say that I did as well as Madison did.
Madison? What's that supposed to mean?
You know what it means, man.
What does it mean?
All right, Madison's the smartest kid in class.
Right.
She sits right next to me, so it was easy to make sure that I got the same answers as she did. So like I said, I did as well as she did.
I suppose you're okay with this, right?
So what's your deal, man?
Nothing.
And who does it hurt?
Who does it hurt? Who does it hurt?
Who's ever gonna find out he cheated anyway?
It's morally wrong.
The point is that he will always know that he cheated.
I think you lose a lot of respect from who does find out, and also you're hurting yourself.
Even though if the teacher or nobody didn't find out, it's like, say for instance, if I was in that position, it's like, my conscience, I'll be convicted so much, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I know that God saw me, so, that'll stir me up right there a little bit.
Well, I think you've got to ask yourself, is it okay to make your decisions based upon whether or not someone's getting hurt?
I wouldn't personally say it's okay, but different people have different morals about that kind of thing.
I don't think that people, when they go to make a decision, they say to themselves, well, is this going to hurt somebody else?
Yeah.
They think of it as is this a benefit for me?
I think it comes down to integrity, like what you do when no one else is around you.
No, it's not okay to base a decision on whether someone gets hurt or not, because one can never tell whether someone will get hurt in the long run. Also, there's a lot more to morality than whether people get hurt.
Ultimately, what do I base my decisions on? Ultimately, there has to be a standard of truth.
People should make their own decisions based on truth, not based on what they believe. What you believe just doesn't matter. That sounds so harsh. People go, oh no, what do you mean what I believe doesn't matter? It doesn't matter what you believe. What matters is the truth.
I have to be very careful to go beyond whether or not someone will get hurt, because I am so easily fooled myself as to whether or not someone else will get hurt. I am so selfish myself. If I just use myself as a barometer, I'm in trouble.
I decide whether it's right or wrong based on my instinct and what I think will be the consequences of my actions.
The test thing, I probably wouldn't cheat, but like if I was in a 7-Eleven and somebody gave me back more change than I was supposed to, I'd walk out with that. Just being real, I don't see who that would hurt. That's her.
You know what?
Fault that she gave me the extra change, and I'm gonna use that.
I remember one situation that I was in that somebody gave me some change back. I gave it back to him. And then when I gave him back to him, they was like, oh man, you're nice. See, that revealed my character to them.
Why do I care what other people think about me? Are they judging me? Are they my judge? To me, they're not. I'm my judge.
You can't always think about other people. You have to think about yourself more, I think. I don't think that you can treat anybody better than you can treat yourself.
The problem with deciding what's right and wrong on instinct is, instinctively, I'm full of anger. Instinctively, I could be full of rage. Instinctively, I could be full of selfishness. Instinctively, I can be cruel.
Based on what's right or wrong on instinct, instinct of what? Where did you get these instincts? And how do you know your instincts are right?
You know, I've heard that a lot. I'm my own judge. The fact of the matter, though, as a Christian, I would lovingly, graciously, but truthfully say, no, God has revealed who He is through the Bible, through nature, through conscience, through His Son, Jesus Christ, and He says, I am the judge.
When a person says, I decide what's right or wrong, they're failing to realize that reality is disgustingly indifferent to what we decide.
When somebody says, I will decide what is true, what are they really saying? I am my own God.
If it were as easy as just deciding what's true and false, right and wrong, then I decide right now I have $1 million in my wallet. What a country. I right now decide that I am the best football player in the United States of America. Boy, that'd be sweet, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, reality could care less about my decisions because things are the way they are, regardless of what I decide.
Well, if consequences are not really a reliable standard of determining truth, how about the idea that everything is okay? That's sometimes referred to as tolerance. That's accepting every view as equally valid. And that poses another problem. Let's hear a few ideas about what tolerance is or isn't, and then we'll address the question, whose truth?
Tolerance, I feel, is just being understanding of other people's viewpoints, kind of like empathy.
Tolerance is to be patient with somebody's behavior.
I believe tolerance means acceptance.
I think tolerance means being able to have your own beliefs and hold them strong to your heart, and yet being able to be open and understanding of other people's beliefs and cultures.
Look at this, Katie. Can you believe that Dr. Death Guy actually got put in jail?
Yeah. He deserves it. He's a creep. He totally creeps me out.
A creep? What? All he does is help people who want to die. I mean, they want him to end their pain, and he does.
Well, I wouldn't call killing someone exactly doing him a favor, would you?
It's not like he's murdering them or something.
Well, I think it is murder. Who's this guy to go around playing God?
I think what he does is cool. He helps people, and who's to say that he's wrong?
Susie.
So which girl do you agree with?
I agreed with Susie. I think that if somebody's in a lot of pain, that they should be able to die. If they're just in pain and suffering, when your dog or your cat is in pain and suffering, you put them to sleep to put them out of their misery.
I totally disagree with Susie because God has a plan for my life, and if I'm suffering in pain, and God's gonna give me the strength to continue with what I'm doing, and He's gonna help me through my struggles, and it's not God's plan to have someone take your life.
Do you think it's right to try and convince others of what's right?
Yeah, it's okay to try, but don't push it on them too much.
If I judge somebody's view as being wrong, I think I'm being tolerant of it. I just don't accept it.
Yeah,
I agree totally.
I think that if you're judging someone's way of being wrong, that you are intolerant of it.
What?
I don't think we should tolerate some things, you know, people not accepting the truth. I think we should not just tolerate that and let them go.
I think you should definitely tolerate anything that anybody wants to believe.
Tolerance is not a virtue. Tolerance is not a good thing.
You know, it's interesting, this word tolerance and what it's come to mean in American society today. And I think that we're operating under a very, very wrong and misguided definition of tolerance.
Tolerance means not that I think you're right. It means I'm going to continue to respect you as a person. I'm not going to be mean to you, even though I think you're wrong about something that really matters.
Tolerance is this non-combative, don't get in an argument, don't have a confrontation, you know, don't offend anybody.
Now, I can tolerate your beliefs without accepting them, without agreeing with them, and because I love you, I can even challenge them.
You know, I tolerate people because I care about them and I love them. But because I care about them, I don't tolerate all of their actions.
It is not intolerant to judge somebody else's view as being wrong. In fact, the only way you can be tolerant of someone else is if you've already judged their view is wrong. If you don't think somebody's view is wrong, what is there to tolerate?
Ultimately, someone's got to make decisions. Somebody's got to set the rules. Who decides these rules? You know, who's going to make the rules for us of what we can and can't do?
I say that the Word of God, that's what sets the rules. That's what settles everything.
A society where each individual person decides what's right or wrong for themselves is out of control. It's just totally nuts. You know, they can go to work, they can not go to work. They can go to school, they can not go to school. They can believe that 2 + 2 is 5 or 8 or 16. They can go at red lights and stop at green lights. It's ridiculous. It's stupid.
In the Old Testament, you know, they talked about Noah, and every man did what was right in his own eyes. And what did God do? He flooded the whole place out. Because what happens when you do what you say is do, chaos, for one thing, sets in. Secondly, selfishness sets in.
Saying that you can believe something and I can believe something different, and we're both right, that's called relativism. You know, it's the idea that everything goes. We can all believe different things and we can all be right.
Now, how's a relativist going to respond to Adolf Hitler? Adolf Hitler said, I decide it's true for me that Jews aren't persons and they should be annihilated. What's a relativist going to say? Because after all, that was true for Hitler. We all know, though, don't we, that even though Hitler decided that it was true for him that killing Jews was okay, what he did was really wrong, and it wasn't true.
There are individuals who believe that this thing called truth is a very limiting and a very binding thing, and they resent what they believe to be limitations on their freedoms. The reality is that truth sets us free. Truth gives us a world with order. It gives us a world where things make sense.
Interesting views. Let me go back to one of the comments that we heard just a few minutes ago when one girl said, and I quote, "I think we should definitely tolerate anything anyone wants to believe." Really? Will that stand up to scrutiny? What about those in positions of power who oppress and kill the innocent? Are there some things that should not be tolerated? And what about the many religions in the world today? Is it accurate to say about one of them, if it works for you, then that's truth? Are all religions relative?
Personally, I think there's only one true religion, but I think the morals of every religion is basically the same.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe in a religion, then, no, do it, whatever.
I don't know for a fact that God exists. It's just a belief that I have. That I believe that he does. I don't know for a fact that he does not.
Definitely there is more than one right religion. Like, it's probably a combination of all of them.
Which religion is right? There's no right religion.
You know, it just makes things easier in some ways, just to believe in God. Even if there's not one, it makes being here a little nicer.
I don't believe it's right to judge other people's religions as being right or wrong, because I base my religion on faith. Who says that their faith is any worse or stronger than mine?
Megan, hold up!
Hey, we'll take you in the car. Hurry up, okay.
Check it out.
I know. Is this another one of those Christian things?
Not what you think. This is a chance to get together, you know, talk.
Yeah, talk to a bunch of brainwashed geeks sitting around judging everybody.
Well, you should know, because you are a geek, so that'd make you fit right in, huh?
Oh, thanks.
But seriously, you should come.
I am serious, Brad. I mean, okay, I've watched my brother go to all these different kinds of religious groups, and each time he like totally believes what he hears, you know, and then he finds something new and better, and he's just always chasing something that's not really there.
Megan, you're not your brother.
Oh, really? Well, yeah, but I mean, honestly, who's to say which religion is right? I mean, hey, if Christianity works for you, that's great, but it's not for me. I gotta go. I'll talk to you later.
All right, I'll see you later.
Bye.
I think that guy pushes his religion too much.
I know people who like that, though.
Well, if your religion, your relationship or whatever, if it works for you, I mean, is that okay?
Yeah, I mean,
Does it make it right?
different people have different beliefs, and they should follow what they feel is right for them.
I think whatever you believe in can work. I think anything that you set your mind to that you believe in can work for you.
If it works for you, then it works for you. I think she's right. What works for me right now is not having a relationship with God and finding out who I am. That works for me right now.
It's really popular to say if it works for you. It is popular. You know what? Because so many students have been fed the lie that there is no such thing as truth. There are only opinions.
I don't think a religion can work for somebody if it's not true. I think you can kid yourself and be in denial, but I don't think it works for you.
The problem with the phrase, if it works for you, it's fine for you, is that it's not clear what it means for something to work for somebody.
How come there's so many different religions out there?
Because there's many
people.
truths.
Many truths?
I mean, I don't
So
believe.
many truths.
I don't believe that there's one truth. I just don't believe that there's just one thing. There's so many different people, and there's so many different ways you can look at things. I don't see how there could just be just one truth.
So why choose Christianity? Why choose any of it? If they're all right, are they all right? Is that what you think?
They're all right for, if it's you, it might be right for that person. It's right to that person.
It
Who am I to
makes
say?
them feel
Who am I
good,
to
or-
say that it's right though? Who am I to say what's right and what's wrong? Who? I'm just a person just like them.
So how do you make any decisions if you don't decide what's right and wrong?
It's right to me.
So if it's right to me to go in your house and steal all your stuff, then it's okay, right?
I didn't say it's okay. I just said it's right. I'm just saying that it's right to me because.
So if it's right to me, so it's fine. It should be fine with you because you just said it's right for every person. So if I come in your house
That
and take
religion
your
is
stuff,
right
then
to
it's
them.
fine.
That's their truth.
You know, sometimes when I'm talking to audiences about this matter of absolute truth, I ask them to close their eyes and point in the direction of north, and then hold the position to open their eyes. Well, everybody's laughing because they're pointing all over the building. Nobody's got it right. Then I take a compass out of my pocket and show them which direction north truly is. See, it doesn't matter what you believe about north. It only matters what truly is.
The reason there's so many religions is that people want to distort morality and important things in life according to their own self-interests. Now, the question then remains, is there any religion that has evidence that it was actually supernatural and wasn't just a human invention?
It is true that people are searching for meaning. And I believe that's one of the reasons why there are so many religions. But if they are searching for truth, they will find it. Because God said, when you search for me with all of your heart, you will find me. And God is truth and the source of all truth.
It's another thing for a religion to actually provide evidence that it came from the other side, that it came from God, and it wasn't just a bottom-up approach, humans creating God. Instead, it was a top-down approach, where God actually revealed himself. Christianity provides evidence that it's actually true. What is that evidence? It's the historical evidence that Jesus Christ actually rose from the dead and performed miracles.
Jesus didn't go, well, tell you what, multiple choice here. You want this religion, that religion, the other religion, or you want me, as long as you're sincere. Listen, you can be sincere and sincerely wrong.
There's only one group of people that wins in the end. There's only one group of people that makes it. It's the ones that believe in Jesus Christ.
All right, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're beginning to hone in on what truth is, and for that matter, why it's important in the first place. Let's listen.
Why should I care? Because there's a lot of hurt in this world. Because I want to make a difference. You know, because I don't want to see my friends grow up and hurt themselves.
If there is this thing called truth out there that can give me some guidelines and guideposts as to how to live my life, it could have a profound impact if I knew what it was.
There's so much suffering going on in the world. The suicide is at an all-time high. It's the #2 killer of all kids in America. And it doesn't seem to make sense. And that's why absolute truth is so important. That's why it is, because it creates a foundation for you to stand on. It says to you, now you're going in the right direction.
It's not simply a philosophic little thing about should I believe in truth or shouldn't I believe in truth. It is far more than that. Life and eternity hinges on what we believe is truth.
If you know in your heart what you believe is true, the confidence that comes from that's awesome. You're on the right path. You know, then you don't have to be tolerant. You don't have to shy away from discussions. You don't have to shy away from your friends. When your friends are in trouble, you can help them out because you know what you believe is true.
Students say, you know, why should I care about the truth? Because the truth will set them free. Because the truth will give them direction. Direction in this life and direction for eternity.
85% of Christian kids believe there's no external standard. Great, 85% of Christian kids are wrong.
Nobody said that it would be easy to find the truth.
There is an external standard. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. That's the funny thing. It doesn't matter that you believe it or don't believe it. The standard still exists.
Now we have to decide, is it worth the trouble? We have to decide how important the truth really is.
We as Christians have to believe in absolute truth for our faith to work. Christianity doesn't work unless we believe in absolute truth. So either we believe God is true, that He did write the Bible, that the Bible is true, all of it, or we don't believe that.
I think there's never a more important time to take the time to think through these issues than as a young person.
People say to me, you mean I can't be happy unless I find truth? And I would say this, you certainly cannot have the peace and the joy and the meaning God wants to give you. Whatever peace you find and hope you find will be short-lived.
We need to find truth so we don't go to hell, is the biggest one. I mean, don't go to hell.
As striking as that last comment is by Ryan, he's absolutely correct. You know, what's at stake in this determination of truth is not simply our well-being in this life, but throughout eternity. And you know, many of us go through our entire lives without considering the issues that we've talked about today. But what we believe is critically important because it determines how we behave and how we live our lives. Now, what pleases me about the segment you're about to see is that the group is beginning to get a better understanding of this concept just by being asked to think about it for a few minutes. Let's listen.
I believe that we're all on a journey, a spiritual journey, and I believe that we all need to respect where everybody is at their point. I feel that I'm at the beginning of my spiritual journey. I just started. I've just packed my bags and started on it.
One thing that this has encouraged me to do is to really share my faith even more and to know that there's hurting people out there that's dying and on their way to hell, and for me to go and do all that I can to reach them and to tell them about the truth.
You guys have a lot of strong beliefs, and I totally want to thank you for your guys' opinions because it did mean a lot to me, and it it made me cry, you know, and I think that you guys are right in a way that there is a God and that Jesus did die for us and everything, but I don't think that I am ready to live my life like that.
I've basically realized that the evil world that we live in has so much influence on people like Christians and to do wrong and the temptations that are in this world, and it's just really revealed itself to me.
I'm taking a stand on Christianity, and I'm taking a stand on God, and I believe in Him and His Word, and I know what's right.
I guess for me, I can only say one thing to kind of wrap up my feelings and my everything, and that's that God is the only way. And when we're talking about, your truth, my truth, and whose truth, I think it's His truth.
That's right.
And that's the only way to go.
not only did God give us truth, He gave us His Son Jesus, which is the communication of truth to us. You know, we read about Jesus in the Bible, and His actions and the way He related to people shows us the true path. It shows us the right path to be on.
God's truth and Jesus is for everybody. For God so loved the world. That covers everybody. That whosoever believes in Him. That covers whoever wants to. Sure, it's narrow. The truth is always narrow. But the gift is for anyone who will receive it, the gift of eternal life.
If there's any evidence that the founder of Christianity, Jesus Christ Himself, actually rose from the dead, then that's a good reason to look into Christianity. That's a good reason to investigate the truth claims of Jesus Christ.
The good news is that Christianity assures us that God really did open Himself up and reveal something about Himself to us in Jesus Christ.
We're talking about God in a bod who became man, who said, I am God. You decide what you will do. Was He popular? No. In the end, they crucified Him. Was He right? Yes. 3 days later, He rose again and He rocked the world. And I'm going to stick with Him and that truth, because that is the truth that sets me free and gives me eternal life, my faith and belief in Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ said, you believe in God? Believe also in me. And then He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. He leaves us with a decision to make.
In the end, every Christian student has to ask the question, who am I here to please? Am I here to please God or man? Am I going to be a God pleaser or a man pleaser?
Well, we've come down to our final moments together. Let me see if I can put a ribbon on our discussion about truth. We've heard varying opinions in the last few minutes, many of them representing what's called moral relativism. That's the belief that truth is whatever anyone says it is, that there is nothing absolute or concrete, nothing that you can count on, nothing that transcends time and circumstances. According to that view, each of us kind of constructs a notion of reality from our own experience. Now, if that's an accurate representation of truth, then nothing is right or wrong. Slavery and genocide are no better or no worse than freedom and justice. There's nothing that's moral or immoral, and one opinion is just about as good as another. That's what most people believe today, and they are tragically wrong. Truth is not something that a person cobbles together out of broken pieces. It's something that exists apart from us because it emanates from the great character of the God who made us. He's the determiner of right and wrong, and without Him, there is nothing but confusion and despair for us all. Why is that? Because meaning in life is linked directly to this understanding of truth. In order to have meaning, every one of us has to answer the major questions that confront us, such as, who am I? And why do I exist? And who made me? And what am I expected to do with my life? And who's keeping score? And will I be accountable someday for my behavior? And is there life after death? Whether you're an atheist, a Jew, a Buddhist, a Muslim, or a Christian, those questions are standing there before us. We have to deal with them. But there are no answers apart from absolute truth that comes from the God of the universe. Jesus Christ said, the truth shall set you free. And then He explained why. He said, I came that you might have life and might have it more abundantly. And that's the source of all meaning in life. I hope you've been stimulated by this discussion of truth. If you're still not sure what to believe, find a Christian pastor or counselor and talk to him or her about it. There's some very good answers for the perplexing questions about life, and you can find them with a little effort. Thanks for watching.